Lilo and Stitch is Disney's new live action remake, so I wanted to watch all of them and rank them. Let's go. The Jungle Book 1994 is different from the book and the animated film. First, it takes a more grounded approach, with no talking animals and no songs. It's more of a colonial adventure where Mowgli tries to integrate back into society. A good chunk of the film is when Mowgli goes to British Colonial to win the heart of a woman, so he learns how to become a normal human and not a man cub. It leans more into the romance, where it loses its what it was based on, which is man vs. nature. If I can give you two words to describe why you should watch 101 Dalmatians, it would be Glenn Close. She absolutely nailed this performance. Every time she was on screen, she stole the show away. Yeah, the dogs acted like real dogs, which worked pretty good for live action, and the other humans were okay at best. Nothing really compared to Cruella. Glenn Close returns as Cruella in the sequel, but even she couldn't save this one. This one was a step in the wrong direction, and in every direction. Sure, kids may enjoy the chaos that's happening, but it doesn't have that drive that other movie had. They try to add more schemes to her plans. There are new characters and even a new side villain that's, whatever. And being a film about dogs, they should have even shown the dogs more. And even there's a new spotless dog, but, should have done more. Alice in Wonderland is visually well done. Tim Burton nailed every location design, to the forest all the way to the Red Queen's castle. The cartoon designs really stand out for every character, especially in Wonderland. Johnny Depp's performance on the Mad Hatter is different from what you would expect from him. Alice is more mature and battle-ready, which is a very different take on the character. And the Red Queen, whenever she was on screen, would always say the best line of the movie. The Sorcerer's Apprentice is visually fun, and that's it. How they showed the magic and the visuals with the flying Chinese dragon when he was chasing Jay Bushenhall was very well done. And also the car chase when they went inside the mirror with Nicolas Cage, it was like I wasn't expecting that, and everything else was really not so much. The story is pretty much basic. Kid gets the chosen one. Now he has to fight the other evil wizard, whatever. And he really didn't care about the main character at all. Nicolas Cage and Alfred Molina were the best characters in the movie, and they also tried to tie in like with romance and the fantasy of epic, and it really didn't play out as they were hoping for. Maleficent flips the script. Instead of telling the story through the protagonist side, like we all know, it tells the story from her perspective, and it's really good. Some fans may not like the switch, but I know you guys, and myself included, cannot complain when Angelina crushed her performance as Maleficent. From her being her rise of the hero of the forest to her fall, and then being redeemed at the end of the movie, bravo. But what surprised me the most was the dynamic between Maleficent and Aurora. I was wondering how they were going to do that now, and they thought out well through, and the emotion was tied there really good. Most of Disney's live action remakes are retelling of the movie it was based on, but not Cinderella. It stuck to the original, and for me, personally, the live action one gives the 1951 a run for its money. Lily James is what you wanted to play as in Ella. Kate Blanche nailed her performance as Lady Tremaine, and if you stay true to the source material and you can put the time and dedication and make the original one into live action one better, this is what you get for Cinderella, and it's nailed it. The Jungle Book 2016 is better than the previous live action one. This movie is almost a 1-to-1 of the animated one. Uh, they did cut some of the songs, which is fine, whatever. But in doing so, they added some scenes that made really no sense, so it felt like they just glossed over the fact of that. The voice actors did a really good job with the scripts that they were given with. The choreography for the fight against Shere Khan at the end with all the fire was really good. The chase scene from King Louis in the temple, I liked it. But why did they made him the size of like a Gigantopithecus? Like he's really not that tall, but they made him so much taller tar than he really needed to be, and kind of the tone of the film felt more of like a PG-13 instead of like the artist that it should have been was like PG or even G rated, but that's what they did, and it's not else I can say. Sometimes there's a point where you don't have to keep on remaking of a movie over and over and over again, and that's how I felt through Allison through the Looking Glass. They tried to keep on inventing something new with Alice in Wonderland, and this movie didn't really turn out how they wanted to, which is unfortunate. Uh, Tim Burton, he's not the director anymore, but there was still some stuff that looked like him, but you could tell that it was totally different. The vibe was totally different. The cast was all the same, but it really didn't matter at the end of, unfortunately, and like it was like the backstory and like the childhood trauma really felt out of place. It felt like it was forced. So it's a shame, but it is what it is. Beauty and the Beast is alright. It stands out visually, and sometimes they miss it. The CGI for the enchanted objects could have been way better. And look at the mask for the Beast, like that was could have been something else. However, Gaston and LeFou was the real stars of the movie, and how their dynamic brought together actually surprised me. Christopher Robin is a movie that the older generation will understand with all the callbacks and more. Be excited to watch than the new generation. The pacing is very slow, however, it actually works for this type of movie and the story it wants to tell, which is doing nothing often leads to the very best of something. And go back to the pacing, like pacing, it's usually wanted to be better in movies, but it's fine for this one. Dumbo is a big letdown. Instead of keeping the runtime around an hour, they have to extend it to make way for the human characters and make them the central of the story instead of Dumbo, the elephant, what it's based on. And Tim Burton directs the movie, and we all know what he brings to the table visually. However, doesn't really, for me, it doesn't really fit this type of movie. But it is what it is. Naomi Scott as Jasmine was an excellent surprise. She did a very good job. Aladdin, he could have been better if the script was better. Now let's talk about Genie. We all know he couldn't replace Robin Williams. Will Smith did a good enough job bringing a different style, not copying him, which I liked it. Now let's talk about the big elephant in the room, Jafar. I was very disappointed with him. He didn't really seem that menacing at all, and they could have done so much better with him, but they didn't, sadly. I'm just gonna save you some time. There's no point in watching the 2019 version. Just watch the 1994 version. It's shorter, it's better, has everything in that you want. At some point, Disney's got to stop making sequels of a live action remake of a remake. It's getting out of hand. Like now, this movie focuses more on like the political side of things now. However, it's very obvious what's happening. Like who the villain is supposed to be. It's very unentertaining. They add new characters who you're supposed to care about. It's whatever. You can really care less about them. It's very uninspiring. Visually, if it's fine, but we can't keep on saying, "Oh yeah, it's visually good." It's got to be something more than that with these remakes of live action movies. Out of all movies to play it safe, you play it safe for this one, just because it has dogs. Like at least try to make it something different, something more entertaining. Like so people can either remember it for good things or remember it from bad things. Because I totally forgot about this when it came out. Because when I was going over it, I'm like, wow, this actually came out. Like that's how you know it's like mid, like doesn't really do anything for you. You just like watch it and then you forget. I'm just gonna get right to it. Some of the shots are pretty cool. However, right now what I'm showing you is like so many different shots in like 2 minutes. Like they keep on switching like POV so quick. It's like what the heck's happening? So, and now let's talk about the villains. Very forgettable. The con, there's a witch, who has magical abilities, and Mulan, she has magical abilities too, and she could keep up with the soldiers. So it's like cool idea, but at the same time, it's like why make it real and no Mushu, but let's have magical abilities in the movie? That makes no sense. You know how I just said before? Oh, stop making remakes of the remakes, live action, whatever. So yeah, it actually works for this movie. So Cruella get a very good origin story from her, like seeing what happened and then how she was raised on the streets. So and it's kind of like when she gets like to the job working for like all the coats. Kind of reminds me of Devil Meets Prada, and that's kind of sense blends it, and then all of a sudden towards the end, boom, let's get some skinning doing. So yeah, it takes a crazy turn and actually surprised me very well. I'm just gonna get right to it. Keegan Key was a real star of this movie and how he played Honest John. I wouldn't be mad with you if you chose his version of an actor's life over the 1940s one. He and Walter Keller did an amazing job of the character. However, back to the 2023 one, the rest of the movie could have been way better. Like, oh yeah, Tom Hanks is there, but like he's playing Geppetto. Like, I could really care less about the character. Overall, it should have been way better, but real good stuff. It's a forgettable adventure movie that tries to capture Peter Pan, but it never does. It focuses more on Peter Pan and Wendy than the other secondary characters. And even then, like I could really care less about this version of Pan. Overall, it's not very impressive. It's just a movie that happens and you just forget about it, move on with your lives. Halle Berry era surprised me. I didn't know she could sing this good, and the rest of the music was fine too. But however, the rest of the movie falls flat. The pacing absolutely kills this movie in all way. Just destroys, and you really don't really care for the rest of it. The CGI animals should have been way better than it was. Some points, oh yeah, it was nice, but then other times you're like, wow, they really did this. Oh yeah, and also, did we really need a 20-minute plot where Ariel and John had to go to a village to develop their I don't know potential relationship? Really, that seemed unnecessary. Yeah, this movie pretty much killed all Lion King franchises movie going forward. Like it should be because like they should have released this way earlier than they did. Like should have been before a remake of the original one, and it Mufasa should have been released in like early, but at the time they didn't have this idea, so it is what it is. Just trying to make more money, and it's a sad thing to see that they're killing this franchise and people like do they really even care about this anymore? I really don't know. The apple scene in Snow White 2025 is probably like one of the worst scenes in the movie. So they keep going back and forth, and then all of a sudden, Snow White takes a little 2 minute break, then eats the apple, and then looks at Deanna, and yeah, it's terrible. And Evil Queen, she was like more interested of like on Instagram or social media than actually ruling because all the lines pretty much just said, "Oh, she's the fairest of them all." Like, come on, like nobody really cares about that. Get to it. Terrible. Pretty much destroyed every other character besides Lilo and Stitch. Yeah, good job. And adding unnecessary characters that makes no sense. Oh yeah, and let's get rid of Gantu, who's like the main driver of the whole focus of the film, Ohana means family, which they got rid of that all of a sudden. So yeah, terrible.